Hello everybody and welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Ben from What Culture Gaming.
I'm Peter from What Culture Gaming.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's at time of recording, it's the weird sky day in England.
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar with the UK sky, here's a photo. Wow, isn't that something? Hey, you remember South Park, The Fractured Butthole that we played at EGX?
Yeah, I do.
I've been playing it all weekend and I'm ready to talk about it now.
Oh!
What are you doing with your chin? You've actually got an actual handful of chin flap.
Yeah, well I was doing this and then when you said that I wanted to react to it, so I just pinched and turned.
Like a penny whistle. Anyway,
yeah,
a little less weird. South Park The Fractured Butthole. This is the sequel to South Park The Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Which you... I tell you what's tired, my thumbs from all those goddamn minigames.
Oh yeah.
That's the excuse that I have for not being able to have, motor controls.
Motor controls.
Yeah, you didn't play the first one.
No.
You're not even a huge fan of South Park.
I'm not even a fan of... I mean, I'm not a huge fan of anything. Look how short I am. But I'm not even a little fan of South Park.
Okay. But you've played the Fractured Butthole.
I have. Well, that was the thing. So when we played at EGX, despite not being a fan, I really enjoyed it just as a game, mechanically speaking.
Yeah.
I like the blend of like RPG elements, which are normally in a fantasy setting or possibly sci-fi, but it was just like kids in a strip joint, and you know the social commentary's there, which I do appreciate in South Park, but I just don't like the poos and the willies, I think.
Right, I mean it is largely about farts.
Yeah, well it is, yeah. I thought that was a bit much even at EGX.
It's a huge deal of it is about farts.
Okay.
So if you liked the first game, chances are you're going to like this one.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. And obviously you're only going to play this game if you're a South Park fan, and as it just looks like an episode of the TV show,
it does.
Then you're going to absolutely love it. Not a perfect game.
No.
But let's dive in by talking briefly about the story.
Okay.
Because it begins, with the tail end of the Stick of Truth,
right,
where they're all still playing fantasy.
Okay.
And Cartman sees a poster for a reward poster for a missing cat for $100, and he decides there and then that actually it's time to play superheroes because his superhero franchise, be it Coon and Friends, are at war with, and I need to look up their name because they're not featured much to begin with, Freedom Pals.
Right.
And they've split off and they're basically Marvel and DC. And it's the Friends, it's the usual friendship group.
Right.
But they've had a falling out. And so he decides that Coon and Friends need to find the cat so they can get the reward to kickstart their franchise, basically, with their Netflix plan. And
right, that would be a victory for them over the other people, right?
Over the Freedom Pals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start off, and at the end of the first one, you're basically the king, and you're like this huge high status guy, and then they change games and you're nothing.
Oh no!
Because you're like, game. Yeah, different game. You're not a king anymore. Who are you? So you eventually get let into Coon and Friends, Coon and Pals, Coon and Friends. These names are confusing.
Friends,
the Coon Friends, and you create your superhero. You choose your first power, and then you go in. As the game goes on, you get to choose more powers and stuff based on different classes.
Yeah.
And that's the basic gist of it. Slight problem in that obviously it's set in the same town as you would expect, where they've sort of kneecapped themselves a little bit because they couldn't really go anywhere other than the same town. Yeah. But it does mean that it is getting a little bit familiar, and they can't really do another sequel because it would just
all
be
in the
identical.
Previous game.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
It's unchanged practically. A few things are different, but it's largely the same. A point of irritation when you begin is it's a little bit. Where do I start? Because it's just, there you go. You remember the map from the first game?
Oh.
Off you pop.
Okay.
But you haven't unlocked the fast travel stuff yet, which you do get later on, which is nice. So you are, for a large portion of the beginning, just holding a direction on the controller and walking.
Walking from place to place.
Yeah, and it's just left to right, or up and down, really. And they do annoying things where, oh no, there's red Lego bricks on this street, which is lava. You can't go past those. You got to come back later or go all the way round.
Invisible walls made out of red Lego. They're visible. They're red.
Visible.
Yeah.
As you go on, you do unlock things that let you go past those, and it does feel very Lego superhero game.
Yeah.
You need to be this character.
You need to be a small person who can get down a hole, or like you need the hover ability to get through there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At which point it does a lot of what I like to call sponge bobbing.
Yes.
Which in a game is where it says, for example, an RPG, hey Peter, would you mind going and fetching this milk for me? So off you go to go and get the milk. But the lady who gives you the milk has lost her cow. So you need to go and find the cow. When you find the cow, it's with someone else who needs something in return for the cow. And you know, it's this long chain.
And that person wants milk.
BS, yeah. It's this long chain of BS before you eventually get back to the main thing.
Oh god, yeah.
So for example,
it's a bit Witcher does that sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
It sends you down a path and you never come back. So you've got to do a thing for a guy, and in so doing, I'll get to selfies in a minute. Selfies are a big part of this game. There's a lady who won't take a selfie with you until you finish doing the thing for a guy, but you can't do the thing for the guy because there's an obstacle in your path, which means you need to come back to that later on. Which means then, once you can get past that obstacle, not only do you need to remember to go and see the guy, but then you need to remember to go and you can now go and take the selfie with the woman as well. There's just so much that you see to begin with that you can't do, and you're trying to make a mental memory of it, that it becomes quite overwhelming and exhausting.
I'll tell you why I don't like that. Not just because it is overwhelming and exhausting and a pain in the arse.
Yes.
A lot of RPGs I like to play in a very RP style. I like to really be my character and act in a natural way.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I was in Skyrim and I turned up at Riverwood and someone was like, hey, come back to me when you've got to the other side of the map and defeated that level 20 troll, I'd just forget about that.
Yeah.
Because by the time I get there, it's probably like 2 in-game years have passed. And why would I go, oh, do you remember 2 years ago that woman in Riverwood wanted me to come here and pick up her lost necklace?
She gives you the South Park equivalent of 50 cents.
And why would you
2 XP?
You'd throw that away. You wouldn't write that in your journal because some other adventurers probably come along and done it by now.
Yeah.
I just don't like the immersion level of that either, as well as it being a massive logistical faff.
It is a bit of a faff. There's lots of collectibles as well that you'll go into someone's garage and you'll see it up there and you're like, well, there's something I need to do to get up there, but I can't remember what it is. I suppose I will come back here later, but then you forget.
We found that in the EGX thing, which, as we said at the time, you know, going into a demo without knowing the controls and the mechanics of the game is always difficult. But there was still an element of like, I think even if I knew the fart ability, I wouldn't know how to get that thing off that shelf.
So even outside of combat, you can use these powers in the environment to knock stuff down and grab items and so on.
It's sort of point and click in a way.
Yeah.
That kind of puzzle.
It is, yeah. And what they did so perfectly in the first game, and for me wore a little thin this time, is that they are parodying a lot of video game tropes.
Right.
So in the first one it was like, yeah, go on, pick up that poo out of the toilet because it's a video game and you collect stuff.
Yeah, anything collectible, you pick it up.
And in this game it's literally just a compulsion just to pick everything up. Like every drawer, everything with a yellow handle that you can open, you open it, you pick up the stuff, because there's a crafting system which you can use to make costume parts if you find recipes for them. You can make you know, items for use in battle.
Right.
Various artifacts, which is something that you can plug into your character to make them more powerful and stuff. So anyway, those are some of the irritations.
Yeah.
And it sounded like a lot, but on the whole, I'm having a lot of fun with.
It's easier to knock a game than to praise it.
It is, and I want to get the annoying stuff out of the way because I'm playing it and I really want to like it, but because I'm playing it critically, and I love South Park, and it is just a big episode of South Park. I hate it. I hate that I'm being told you need to go here and talk to Mr. Mackey because there's counselling between Tweak and Craig because they've fallen out with each other and they want to get back together, and you can't go there yet because there's red lava bricks.
But you want to.
And you're having to go on this massive detour around and then you think, well, while I'm over here, I might as well go and see Mrs. Cartman to see what she's got going on, because she said there was something she wanted doing. And you just get stuck off over here and you just want to really enjoy all the cinematic moments.
It's like someone's written a real South Park episode and then they've got page 3 and they've gone, I'll put that behind page 60.
Right.
We'll come back to that, like way down the line.
Yeah.
And it you know, no coherence, I guess, or not no coherence, but
I do wish I could just push forward with the main quest. Although it does say a lot that actually I am getting drawn to the side stuff as well, which there isn't a ridiculous amount of.
Yeah.
But again, like the Chin Pokemon in the first game, which were collectibles, I have a feeling that some of the collectibles in this are going to be locked in areas that you go to in the story that you can't come back to. Yeah, some of the Chin Pokemon, once you finish the game, it's like, oh, okay, so I need to play all over again. If you're wondering about the whole race thing, where if you play as black, it's as a black character, it's harder. when you're choosing your skin color, Cartman actually says in voiceover, "Don't worry, this doesn't affect the game's difficulty. It just affects every other decision for the rest of your life," or something like that.
Right.
So there's loads of social commentary like that.
Okay.
Quite interestingly, what I like about South Park is that regardless of which side you fall on, whether or not you want to call people SJWs, or whether or not you feel like you're defending people that need to be defended,
or you want to
not taking a side here.
Yes.
PC Principal will, because obviously he's a massive parody of the archetypical white knight.
Obviously.
He introduces a thing where if you hear a microaggression in a battle, it'll say microaggression, and you get the opportunity to press X, and your character will just go over and hit them. So you get an extra attack. So not only is it forcing people who do call people SJWs to use the microaggression system to benefit themselves, people who consider themselves white knights, so to speak, are also being... Basically, everybody gets played by the system. South Park is laughing at everyone here.
Yeah, you have to point at both people and go, "Ha, you're silly. I guess I'm silly a little bit."
Yeah, for taking advantage of the microaggression system. Because you don't have to use it, but who isn't going to? You're playing a video game. So they really are just taking the piss out of everyone, which is kind of refreshing, really.
Yeah.
And quite nice. So, superhero aspect-wise, you've got your costume. You can buy costumes from people. You find them in the environment. You find recipes for them so you can craft them, and you have a crafting level and stuff. There's a lot of mini games in this, sort of button prompt things where they clearly didn't really know what system to introduce, and they were like, screw it, just waggle the analog sticks in weird directions and press all the shoulder buttons. Which feels a bit odd. Then they've also got Coonstagram. So your entire thing in this is the main. If you press the touchpad on PS4, you've got your phone, and you can customize the background and the color of it. And if you want to have a cracked screen and stuff.
Oh, really?
And on it, it's got the various apps that you select, to edit your costume, your artifacts, your powers, crafting, your inventory, all that kind of stuff. One of them is Coonstagram.
Yeah.
So one of the forms that the collectibles takes is taking selfies with people. And you go up to them, and not only do you have an option to press X to talk to them, but you can ask them for a selfie. And a lot of them will have prerequisites before they take a selfie with you.
Like that lady.
Like the lady. Yeah, exactly. So there's that to be mindful of, and that all feeds back into your character sheet. The more of these things that you fill up, because it's like if you imagine a trophy where it's get 10 people to take a selfie with you. Once you've hit the first landmark, you actually get XP to level up your overall character.
Okay.
So there is a reason for doing it. Then you also have artifacts, which are things you can craft or find, which you plug into your character to make them more powerful, changes their stats, all that kind of stuff. Powers, you get various different powers as you go through the game, outside of your fart abilities, and oh boy, do they feature a lot.
Yes. There was that whole PR thing where they were getting people to submit their farts.
Be featured in the game, have a fart in the game. And finally, the big standout that I would probably mention as well is buddies as well. As you go through and you make friends with superheroes on side quests and so on, they will help you. So being able to clear those lava bricks, you need a buddy for that.
Right.
See a little wind turbine thing, what do you call those?
Windmill.
Not a windmill, but one that you blow into though.
I think it's still called a windmill.
It's still a windmill. Okay, right.
Yeah.
You see those on the side of buildings. If you scan that, someone will come over and you can, using their kite on your back, you can fart your way up onto the roof.
Oh, of course you can.
To get items and things.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of aspects that in many ways it has improved on the first game, but it is still very familiar. Combat-wise, it's now sort of a grid system like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes, it is.
Familiar with that? Your powers have certain squares that they will affect, and so on and so forth. It is a lot faster. You have ultimate moves and stuff. It's been a long time since I played the first game, so I can't really remember what the difference is between the combat, but it is obviously super power based now, and that's a lot of fun. Combining your powers as well. If you do a knockback attack and you've got if you've got one of the enemy's allies next to them, you'll punch them into them and you'll do damage to both. If you've got one of your guys on the other side and you punch them into them, they'll punch them back.
Team attack.
Exactly.
I did that EGX, it was good.
Yeah. So that's really good.
There were environmental hazards as well, I think, right?
There are,
Things to hide behind and...
there's the various sometimes obstacles in the way, or sometimes there are barrels that you can attack, and they will go set on fire and they'll have a radius and they'll blow up. It's turn-based again. One thing that did slightly annoy, although I kind of understand why they did it, otherwise it would be sort of anarchy, is that your attacks that go left and right across the grid, you cannot, even if you face vertically, or vertically.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird talking about the orientation. You can't then do that attack that way.
That's
it can only ever be done left to right, so you need to loop all the way back round them if you want to do it that way.
Right.
Kind of annoying, but understandable. But on the whole, enjoyable. The ultimate attacks are all really good, over-the-top animated things. They're kind of like... Oh, there are also summons as well.
Oh, are there really?
That you unlock as you go through.
Oh, that's cool.
So I helped out Jimbo and I think it's Ned, the guys that own the gun shop, and you unlock a ham radio that you can use in battle, and they just wander into shot and go, oh, it's coming right at us, and they just spray the entire thing with machine gun fire.
Nice.
You can summon Moses, who will come and heal you.
Yeah.
So
probably
very
the
South
Prophet
Park.
Muhammad as well.
Probably, right? Who knows? And if you like the Stick of Truth, you're going to enjoy it because it's more of the same.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even say you're not going to play it anyway. I mean, yeah, in all likelihood you probably won't. But if you did, from what little I've played, I think you might still enjoy it.
Yeah, it's funny, it's irreverent. There are fewer messed up moments. Like the first one had a boss battle against Nazis and an aborted fetus.
Oh
I think.
God, really?
This one,
there was that sex bit in your parents' bed, right?
Yes,
I've seen that.
Well, we did the lap dance mini game where you just fart on the guy.
Yeah.
So there's stuff. It seems to be a little more tame. I don't know if there's censored versions because certain scenes were removed from the UK version, like an anal probing scene.
In the first one.
In the first one,
yeah.
I have actually got a US review code though, so I think I don't know if there'll be stuff taken out for international releases. Yeah. But I am enjoying myself in spite of those few niggles because they are really minor issues. If you're a fan of South Park, you're still really going to enjoy yourself. Yeah. And I think I'm ready to give it a score now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give South Park: The Fractured Butthole 4 stars.
Very respectable.
4 stars. It was I was close to 3.5, but as a South Park fan, the humour and the world of South Park carries this game so much that the drawbacks aren't too effective.
Yeah. I think from what little I played, I'd give it like about a 3.5. It was good. It was good enough. Yeah. And as I say, I like the weird, almost juxtaposition of RPG elements in kind of a strange setting. Yeah. I like the idea that you can summon a guy who owns a gun shop rather than like the ancient demon Morsgoth.
Yes.
It's just a guy with a gun shop.
Yeah.
That's a summon.
Why not? Just get him in there and shoot the place up.
Sure.
Really good fun. But let us know in the comments below if you're looking forward to it. It's actually out tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah, so that's exciting. I hope people are going to enjoy themselves with that.
Yeah, that's nice.
And thank you, Peter.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you for listening to me talk
about... I got paid to do this.
Well, so did I.
Not by Ubi, by
our employers.
This isn't sponsored. No, I'm paid to sit in this chair and talk about games.
Yeah. But I will wear free shirts if you send them in.
Oh yeah.
Like doesn't mean I'm sponsored by these guys. This was a free shirt.
So yeah, I mean so was this.
Was it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. If Domino's are watching.
Please send. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'm Ben from What Culture Gaming.
I'm Peter from What Culture Gaming.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.